Thank you for the quick responses here. So, in the previous few classes here, we talked about the probabilities and basic understanding of the probabilities here. And subsequently, we have talked about some application aspects of the probability in the context of Bayes' theorem here. So now we are going to extend from our previous understanding to include few more aspects of our analysis. So the first thing which we are going to cover in this course here, it is the random variables here. And in this course, we are going to cover the different initial aspects or it's very fundamental aspects of the system levels here, which we are going to need here when we go for system analysis here. So let us go for a very quick review here, what we have discussed precisely here, and then we'll subsequently we try to build our concept for our requirement in case of random variable here. So the previous few classes here, we talked about the sample space and the events here. Okay. So few questions are coming here related to, so are you going to take quiz today? Yes, quiz will be for our announced schedule time here. As we already announced here, it is for the 12:10 here. So it is going to start at the 12:10. It will finish at 12:30. It is 20 minutes quiz here with the multiple correct answer possibilities here. As we already provided the instruction in my earlier communication on the Google Classroom here related to the rules and regulations regarding this quiz. So you need to note it again. I'm repeating again here. That you need to submit responses within the allocated time. So you have to submit before the time here. So late submission will lead to the 0 marks here. So the second question is syllabus of quiz. So what we have covered in the previous class, that will be part of the quiz here. What we are going to cover in today's class, it is not part of the quiz. Okay. Yes, classes end here at 12 here, but we'll go for the 12:10. Said there's everything already scheduled here. Next time when we will go for the quiz here, I will try to manage within the allocated slots here. Okay. Okay. So not to bother too much. So it is just a 20 minutes quiz here. Any other question regarding the quiz here, or should I move ahead for the today's talk? Yes, in the Google form, it will be shared with you all here. So the Google form will be open. You need to provide some basic entries regarding your credential here, and then you can start. So you all need to use your triple IT Gmail IDs here. Okay. Any other query? Okay. Thank you. If there is any other query here, we can take it in the last here. No further query in the middle of the lecture. So as we have talked about the sample space, and we subsequently also decide events here. So when we talk about the sample space here, sample space is a collection of all possible outcomes corresponding to an experiments here. Suppose if you're going to toss a coin here, so in that case, what would be the possibility here? So yes, as there are two coins here, so both head could appear, both tail could appear, one head, one tail, and vice versa here. So this could be the complete aspects of outcome here, that is called as the sample space here. Out of that sample space, we could construct different events here. One event could be corresponding to the all the heads, means only one possibility, all the tail, another possibility, and it could be at least one head here, here. So there could be multiple permutation combination here in formulating the different events here. So we define also that event is a subset of the sample space here. Okay. So subsequently, we also discuss about the union, intersection, or and or operations here on the experiments, or you can say more precisely in terms of events here. We discuss the problem based on these mathematical operations here. So I think some sound is coming from Amog Dubey. Amog Dubey. You need to unmute. You need to mute yourself. So simultaneously, we also discuss few of the axiom property of the probabilities here, and based on we have also concluded that the probability which you are going to define here, it will be a positive quantity. So whatever the context it will be always have some positive value in the range of 0 to 1 here. Its value is not going to be more than 1 here. And further that we have decided few properties related to the disjoint. If that disjoint means PA intersection union B will be PA plus PB here. And subsequently again, if there are non-disjoint events here, then this one here. So using probability, so in a nutshell, we could say we are trying to use the probability here to make some inference about the population here. So what was the event or incident is happening? From that we are trying to extract some information here, which could be helpful for us here. So this way we are trying to define the probabilities here related to some practical problems here, so that we could have some more fruitful information here, which we have already discussed in case of Bayes rule applications here. So where we already observed here. So giving the response at the first place will not be maybe accurate here. So we need to wait till the last here, until unless we didn't compute the different probabilities here or conditional probabilities here, we will not be sure what could be the correct observations here. So once we calculate it, you will have a more clear picture related to the behavior of the system here. Okay, so this will be our scenario in the context of Bayes rule here. So this is all we already discussed in the previous classes here, and now what we are planning here, whatever the discussion at present we are doing here. So this will leads to the develop of the notion of a random variables, as we already discussed in the start. So we are going to describe the basic of the random variable here, and subsequent classes we will go for some explanation as well as some more system analysis here through the random variables here. So numerical data and discrete random variables, this will be another aspects here, and simultaneously discrete random variables and their probabilities here. So this is another aspects which we are going to cover in case of our today's discussion here. Because once we decide the random variables here, so very soon we will get to know that once we are dealing with the random variable, and to have the further insight related to the random variable here, we deal in terms of their associated probabilities distribution here. So it could be distribution function, it could be density functions here. We will decide this function slightly later here. So this is just terminology and putting the things in the right context here. So let us go ahead with more systematic way here. So once we did the random variables, so by intuition or general observation is a variable whose value belongs to a known set of values, the domain here. Here, this is our general observation based definition here. So a variable whose value belong to a known set of values, the domain here. So you can think of corresponding to any experiment outcome here. If we are going to map it here, so some another domain here. If you're going to map it some other domain, we could say this is based on that here. And simultaneously, when you're going for this random variable definitions here, as well as trying to set it here, so from the mathematical point of view, it's a non-negative function on a domain here, and the summation of all the function here which will going to define it, it will lead to the unity, which we have already discussed earlier here in the context of probabilities, and we already verified here. Okay, and once we are going to define it here, we are going to map it. So generally it is one-to-one mapping which take place here when you're going to define it here. Okay. So so if we define it more systematically here, we could say a probability model here. So once we decide the probabilities here or define the probabilities here, if you remember, we talk a lot about the uncertainties here, correct? So the moment we say uncertainties, we are not sure here what we are going to uh, extract the information here. Still, it is not very much mature here. It is not all necessary that it has already happened here. For example, once we are dealing with some conditional probabilities here, conditional aspects here, probability of A given B here. So once we are deciding probability of A given B here, so it doesn't mean that event A is already happened. It is going to be happen in the future here, but based on the current information or present information with us here, we are trying to extract the information here. How reliable its output here could be in the future based on the previous knowledge or the experiments outcomes here. So this is related to the uncertainties here. So once we are dealing with the random variables here, you need to be very clear about it. We are going to build something on top of probabilities here. Okay. So the random variable foundation is laying based on the probabilities here. And once we decide the probabilities here, it is all related to the uncertainties involved in the system of functioning or the behavior here. So whenever this uncertainty is involved here, here in at the first stage at the probability itself here, and once we are going to build something on that probabilities here, so this uncertainty will also be present in subsequent here. So you can think of this as a cumulative effect here. What is observed here earlier, this is going to be true in the subsequent classes too here. So as based on our understanding of probabilities here, we are defining the random variables, a probability model that describe the possible outcomes of a chance process and the likelihood that those outcomes will occur. So to say the likelihood means there is some uncertainties involved here. And why this uncertainty is involved here? Because this is based on the associated their probabilities here. In the first place, there are some uncertainties already involved here. For example, if I'm going to toss a coin here, so even though how many number of times I have computed here, suppose 10 times I have tossed the coin, 100 times here, 2000 times or 10,000 times here. But still, when I'm going to perform a new experiments here, I'm not sure that the outcome will be head or tail here. No one can take a guarantee here. So always some level of uncertainty is involved. Some likelihood is there here. Okay. So this is what is the mean of this sentence here. The possible outcomes of chance process and the likelihood that those outcomes will occur here. Because once I'm going to toss a coin here, obviously one outcome will appear. Either head or tail will appear here. So likelihood that those outcomes will appear means before the experiment's outcome appear here, we are trying to find out what could be the outcome here. Okay. So when we are trying to predict something here, there will be always some uncertainties involved here. Okay. So if we go further here, so a numerical variable that describes the outcome of a chance process is called the random variable. A random variable takes numerical values that describes the outcome of some chance process here. So we are considering one example here, considering tossing a fair coin 3 times here and defining x the number of heads obtained here. So we are going to toss a coin 3 times here And simultaneously we are only interested in the number of heads obtained here. So if you want this information here, so what would be intuition based here? How we could define it, or how we could express this information to someone? Okay, and I need to collect all the experiments outcome here first place, and then subsequently need to define the sample space here. So in the sample space, all the possible outcomes collection will be there here, correct? So once all the possible outcome is there here, then based on that, if someone asks me anything about, then I need to express complete experiments outcome to him so that he could understood. Okay, this is with our way, or how we can tell someone else here. Any other idea from your side? So let me repeat the question again here, and then you shall start answering. So here the problem is, I am going to toss a coin 3 times here, and I am interested to communicate the information related how many number of times the heads will appear here. Correct? So how will you express it? So you can participate. You can unmute yourself and
Sir, you are
someone.
asking about the ways we can describe the outcome, na?
Yes. So once we are saying the number of heads obtained here, so one aspect could be number of head could be 0, number of head could be 1, number of head could be 2, number of head could be 3. Okay. So how we are going to differentiate these things very precisely in our response to some third person, correct? So this is at your end. You have taken a coin, toss 3 times. Complete observation is in front of you. Now you need to express these outcomes to third person here. How would you do that? In a very precise manner. Just have a thought.
In tabular form.
Tabular form. Okay, good. So good response from the Chitesh. Bhavya says through the tree mapping. Okay. Sudhanshu says also using binary tubular form. Good. Others may also participate and give the response here. So there's one confusion. No, when we talk about the random variables, it need not to be direct, mutually exclusive here. We will see through the discussion here. Bernoulli's trials. Okay, so these are generally the distribution here function. So we could use it. Some we are going to discuss also here. This could be binaries here. It could be Poisson here. So based on the nature of problem statement, we decide here. It could be normal distribution too here. So all the possibility will appear. So I'm not going to be a particular at the entry level here. We are defining in general. Anything else? Okay. So let us see. So how we are going to express it. Okay. So the problem is very clear to us. So I have tossed a coin 3 times. So based on 3 times, this is the outcomes here. Correct. So here the events which we have defined x here. This is related to the number of heads obtained here. So x is equal to 0. What it means that the event which we have defined here, the event which we have defined is related to the counting the number of heads here. So it says x is equal to 0. Okay. So the moment I decide define an event here, x the number of heads count. if I say x equal to 0, means it will represent all those possible experiment outcomes where this value is 0. Simultaneously, if we see the another values here x is equal to 1 here. It means in all those possible outcomes here, in all those possible outcome here where one head appear, it is not like more than one here. So that is a total different case here, possibilities here. So the moment we define x is equal to 1, it means it will count all those experiments outcome here where the head appear once only here. So if there are 3 coins here, so first coin head will appear in this stage, second coin head will appear, and third coin head will appear. So this will be the 3 possibilities out of 3 coins here. Okay. Mhm. So simultaneously, if we say x is equal to 2, means the 2 head appears. If I will toss the 3 coins here, then the 3 heads appear here. Correct? And no, sorry, x is equal to 2 means 2 head appear, and x is equal to 3 means 3 head appear. So is there any possibility for x is equal to 4? No. Good. Because if I'm going to toss a 3 coins here, so obviously 4 will not appear here. So this is again an intuition here. So based on up to what level of x I need to carry forward here. This function I need to define here. Correct? Here. So now we are going to map it with their associated probabilities here. Okay. As if at the first case, if you assume that the coin is fair, so the probability of getting head and probability of getting tail is equal. Both are equal, probabilistic here. At the first place we are here. So if we say x is equal to 0 here, x is equal to 0, so means all the outcomes are tail. Okay, so all the outcomes are tail here. So you can count out of the 8 possibilities, one is this one, like this, which is favorable here. So I could say once we define the probability is what we define, probability P is equal to favorable number of favorable conditions divided by the total possible options here. Okay, so 1 is the only favorable, TTT means tail. So that is 1, and it's divided by the total number possibility 1 by 8 here. Correct. Second, in case of x is equal to 1, if I am defining here value x is equal to 1, this is 3 by 8 here. Simultaneously, if we go for 2, x is equal to 2, this is 3 by 8, and if I'm defining the 3 here, so just when all the 3 is as a head here, then it is again 1 by 8 here. How we calculate it? These are the values which is written at this stage here. This is linked with this one. All this. From this, we are coming to this stage here. Okay. Now, this is one question to you all here. So, which one is easy to represent? This is first. If I denote it first, if I denote this one as a second, okay. So, which one is easy to represent? Yes, obviously, second one here. Compared to the first aspect here, if I am using this tabular method here, tabular form, it is relatively easy to write, and it is more clear to it is giving more clear information related to the experiment here. Correct? Now, but still, okay, if I'm looking this form here, still I need to observe the values here. Now, if you map it, these values, the graphical representation here, correct? Here. So once I mapped it with a graphical representation here, now it is coming more precisely to me, or within one stage, all the information I'm getting here. So corresponding to the experiment, out x is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2 and 3 here. This is their associated probabilities here. Why the probabilities? Because the width which we have considered here, width here to here, which we consider here, this width is unity, correct? If as this width is unity here, so there's a height just represent the probabilities here. This is exactly match with their associated probabilities here. So if I say, correct, so out of first, second, and three, if we are defining here, this is a very small experiments which we have performed here, considering the three coin, and all these three aspects, first, second, and three, represent the same thing, and all of them convey the same information related to the one event, and this event is just counting the number of heads appearance when I'm going to toss the three coins here. Correct? All of you agree with me? Okay, good. So here, as this is small experiments here, so from when we are moving from first to form one to form two here, we could observe this is slightly more crisp here and providing the clear picture here. Simultaneously, when I'm moving from the two to the third here, still we are getting this form is giving a further clarity in terms of representation to us here. Correct? Here, because once it is in the number form, it is written here. I need to go for analysis related to the number values here. What is the magnitude of this values which is appearing here? Here. So I need to go for one small analysis, but if it is written in the graphical form here, I could sense it very easily related to their behavior or functioning behavior here, that how they are appearing here. Correct? Okay. So this, but if I go for some kinds of experiments here where the large number of data is available with me, and if I need to go for the tabular form as well as graphical form here, so tabular form, it may be possible here if I'm observing here, I could miss some values here, or I could get some duplicacy in terms of the associated values here. I may confuse with some of the values which is present one row with the values which is presented at the another row here. So this kind of general confusion could appears to you all here. But if I go for the corresponding graphical presentation here, then this kinds of ambiguity is resolved substantially here compared to the second level of analysis here. So this is all just a very small expression here with the help of random variables here we have defined here. So you'll be very much crucial here, very curious to know here from where this random variable we have talked here. So whatever the value of x we have defined here, correct? So this is the one thing, or it is a foundation which is corresponding to the random variable here. Okay, so very soon we will define how this is coming here. Okay, so what we have done here, okay, so what we have done through the x equal to 0, 1, 2, and 3 here, what we have done here, that the number of head operands here, this was the our events which were defined here. So corresponding to a 0 head, I mapped it with 0, correct? That the number of heads are appearing here in the count, that is 0, I have mapped it with a 0. Number of head appearing, I have mapped it with a 1. Number of head appearing as a 2, I mapped it with a 2. And number of head appearing as a 3, I have mapped it with a 3 here. Okay, so now just try to observe here. So there was one possibility experimental outcome where is head and tails are appearing in the response, correct? And there is another domain where some number values is associated in the forms of 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what we have done when I'm trying to define this random variable, I have just mapped the values in the one domain to the another values here. I'm going to repeat again through this random variable or this simple example here. What we have done, just simply we have done a mapping. So when we are talking about the random variable, this is a one-to-one mapping here, corresponding to an experiment's outcome here on the real line here or axis here. So this mapping is done here, right? So once I define, when I go for a 3 coin toss here, so there could be four I could define if I'm precisely in terms of head count here. So there could be four events here, correct? So one event could be where zero head will appear. Another event could be where only one head appear. Another event could be only two head will appear. Another event could be where three head appear. So I could say I have defined these four events: events A, event B, event C, and event D, respectively. Correct? So I'm defining these events A, B, and C, D here. And then if I am trying to map it event A with 0, event B with 1, event C with 2, and event D with the 3 here. What is observed here? So I am just trying to map it from one domain to the another domain here. So here you can say this is one form. So here there are four events: event A, B, this is event C, this is event D. So four events corresponding to tossing a simple coin. I have decided the four events, and this event is mapped here: 0, this is 1, this is C, and this is D. Right? So this is 0, 1, 2, and 3 here. So all these are different events. Event A is corresponding to the 0 head, event B corresponding to the 1 head, event C corresponding to the 2 head, and event D correspond to the 3 head here. So simply based on the number of head appearance, I mapped 0, 1, 2, and 3 here. This is one way. I could map it with this A could be 0, B could be 2, C could be 4, and D could be 6 also here. So I could map it with any random number here, but I need to maintain one logical operation here. So one sequence here. Okay. So this could be the one basic requirement here. We will see very clearly here once you go for some more example here. So point is, when I am going through the random variables here, so random variable, what we are defined here, describe the possible outcome of chance process and the likelihood that those will appear here. If we see the third statement, a random variable takes numerical values that describe the outcomes of some chances process here. So what we are doing exactly, this numerical values we are doing mapping here corresponding to the some chances process A, B, and C, D here. So how we are doing this random variable formulation or fundamentals? I hope this is clear to you all here, or anyone has doubt here. This is very important here. You need to understand. If you're clear, then we should move on. So random variable concept is clear here. Okay, good. So as because this is the first time new concept is appearing to you, that's why we have taken this much time you to explain it here. Correct? So this is not a very new concept. This is just a observation here how we are trying to switch from one aspect of observation to the another aspect of observation here. And this mapping is going to help us in terms of analysis of the system in a quicker way or in a better way here compared to its original raw data form here. Okay, so what we have done here, based on that, if we are going to define definition of a random variable here, so a numerical values, what we have is done numerical value to each outcome of a particular experiments here. So each outcome I'm going to map it here. and where this numerical values which we are going to assign here, this will be on the real line axis here, where it could be my negative values or it could be positive values here. I'm going to repeat it here. When I'm going for the mapping here, it could be mapped to the positive values or it could be mapped to the negative values here, both right here. It's not like the probabilities. Once we are defining the probabilities here, as per the axiom condition, it need to be a positive number, and its summation will lead to the unity here. So it will represent the complete entire sample space here. But once I'm going to the random variable here, it is just one-to-one mapping here. So this one-to-one mapping could be negative numbers here, or it could be a positive numbers to here. Both are correct here. And once we go for this mapping here, we define the in terms of their associated probability distribution here. Because you already have some idea based on some intuition here. The mapping which is happening here, this is based on their associated probability distribution. And you can observe very easily the number which you are deciding here. So this 1/8 here. So this is mapped with their probability distribution. Corresponding to this number 1 here or event B, this is related to probability distribution. This is mapped with a 3/8 corresponding to 2 here. That is the event C. This is mapped with the 3/8 here. So this is related with their associated probability distribution here. From where this number are appearing? Based on their probability associated with those events here, or in general terms, we say that these are the probability distribution here associated, and these probability distribution are associated with all those experiments outcome here. So the probability distribution of a random variable x gives the possible values and their probabilities here. So this is exactly what we have. So this is not so this figure, if we see here, so this figure is just another way to represent the some sort of examples here. This is not precisely here related to the previous example. It's just a common understanding. So this is related to your sample space is complete. Out of the sample space, these are the some experiments outcomes here, which are mapped here. Okay, and these experiments outcomes here we are mapping with some real line values here. Okay, so this way we are moving ahead here. So how we are going to define it? So random variables are denoted with capital letters such as X, Y, or Z here. So whenever we define the random variables, we generally denote it with the capital letters here. So where we will see the capital letters here, it means we are talking in terms of their associated random variables here. So that's why when you are defining here, we have used the capital letters at this place here. Out of this notation here, generally we use the letters X and Y here to denote here, and the letter Z also represents for normal distribution of any function here. Here, this is again related to the random variables here, and once we go for the normal distribution here, we will see this set notation there here. So in general, I can use any letters here to represent the random variables here. It could be X, Y, Z, it could be ABC, or it could be PQRS, any letters here, but it could be in the capital letter. This is our understanding. But even though this is our understanding here, out of these different letters here, we keep some letters here just to denote some specific function behavior here. So we generally avoid to use these letters here as a random variables in order to just to simply avoid the ambiguities here. It doesn't mean that we are saying that these letters can't be used to represent the random variables here. So to represent random variables out of A to Z, you can use any letters here, but we refrain ourselves to using some letters here in order to avoid the ambiguity. That's it here. So there are some classifications here in terms of random variables. So discrete random variables and continuous random variables. There are two broader classifications here. So once we are going for the discrete and the continuous random variables, it is again based on the intuition here. And intuition means here we are going to observe the outcome here. What is the experiments I am going to perform here? Corresponding to those experiments, what are the outcomes here? If the outcomes are discrete in the nature here, then it is going to match with the discrete random variables. If the outcomes are continuous in the nature here, then it is going to map with the associated continuous random variables here. Okay. This is our basic understanding here. So these are the some classification, some examples here. So as we already discussed, so when you are defining the random variables here, random variable is nothing, but we are going to assign some numerical values on the real axis here, corresponding to some experiments outcome here. And once we are going for this mapping here from one domain to another domain here, we generally go for the one-to-one mapping here. So there are some examples here for the discrete random variables: number of cells, number of calls here, shares of the stock. Here means these are the numbers which could be counted here. Suppose there is a salesperson here. So how many calls he makes a day here? You can count here. So if there need to count the number of people here standing in a queue here, so this is a countable here. Here, if I'm going to count the number of mistakes in a page here, means these are the numbers which are finite here, which could be counted here. So we define it with a discrete random variables here. So continuous random variables means it's a length, depth, volume, time, weight here. You can't say, okay, when am I going to measure someone weight here? That suppose there is a weight measuring machine A, it doesn't be like this here. After that, there will be certain jump. Either it could be 80 kg or it could be the 70 kg here. You can't be in between 75 or something like that here. Does it happen? No. So there is a continuous measurement here. Someone could be 70.1, 70.2, 70.29, 70. If you go the distal here, it will give the very precise values here based on your weight here. Similarly, if you are going to measure length here, someone could be 5'4", someone could be 5'4", someone could be 7 here, like this here. So again, this is a continuous measurement here. Okay, suppose there is a pot here, we need to measure its volume here. You can't say there could be only 10 ml here, or after that will be 20 ml. In between, anything can't be here. No, there will be infinite number of possibilities here. This could lie here within that range. It could be any number values here. Okay. So this means this is all the possible options here. So let us say, let us define. So discrete randomness has a finite or countable number of possible outcomes here that can be listed here. Example, number of cells called a person makes in one day here. And that is countable. You can count here that salesperson A makes a 10 calls, salesperson B makes a 15 calls, like that here. So this number is countable here. Continuous random variables here means uncountable number of possible outcomes represented by an interval of the number line here. So x equal to hours spent on sales calls in one day here. Here, how many hours we are spending here on the call here. So once I am going to measure it, there is always further a specification here. So based on the precision, you can measure here. Someone says 10 minutes, you're on a call here. Someone say 10 minutes, it's 10 second here. Someone say no, further 10.5 second here. 10 minutes, 10.5 seconds here. This number will keep on increasing because there is always some values within that range here lying here. This is up to the us at our layer based on the measurement facility up to what level we could measure it. Okay. So examples, random variables. Okay, so now we need to give the answer here. I'm going to put some questions to you here, share some questions to you all here. Now, based on what we have discussed earlier, you need to answer this is discrete or it is continuous here. Okay. So X is the number of stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average that have share price increase on a given day. So it will be discrete or continuous. So many responses coming discrete. Okay, good. Let us check the answer. How many of you are correct? Okay. Because this all the answer is correct here. Because the number of stocks whose share prices increases can be counted here. You could count. It is 32, or it could be $35, or it could be $100 here. So this is a countable number here. So it is a discrete random variable example. Very good. So let us check another. Now we have come to the another example here. The volume of water in 32 ounce container. So when I'm going to measure the volume here, so this is a continuous number here. Out of 0 to 32 ounce here, it could be any number values here, correct? It can't be that it is 0, 10, 20 like this here. So it is a continuous in nature here. Okay. Okay. So now, based on the previous understanding, we are trying to move from the events to the random variable formulations here. The one example we already discussed in the context of head and tail here. Now we are trying to map it with another coordinate examples here, with which you people are familiar here. Just examination system and their grade system here. So almost all the semester we are dealing with this kinds of problems here, and how we are going to map it, this random variable concepts here, with our basic understanding here. So modeling students here, grade and their intelligence level. So two categories we are deciding here. So where W represents all the possible students here. So where the all the possible students, where they are decided in the two intelligence category, high or low. That could be two possible subsets. Either subset could be based on their grade, the grade A, grade B, or grade C here. Maybe so on. We could classify it here. So grade A means all students with grade A, grade B means all students with grade B. There would be another event intelligence high with high intelligence all the students here. And all these events A, B and high will be the subset W here, as the W represents all possible outcomes here, correct? So all possible outcomes here, this will be the case. And all these events which we are defined here will be the subset of this one here. So this could be the mapping here, correct? So in case of intelligence, we could map it with the high or the low. This could be two numbers here. So this is simply mapped with another numbers here and the domain high or low. So this is our initial raw data form here. So through one mechanism simply represented here precisely to give a more clear picture to us here. It will help us in the further analysis of the group here. Similarly, if we go for the by grade, so A plus, B, C plus, so that we could divide it here. So out of that, our desired A and B groups are also present here. So this way we could map it very easily here. Okay. So discrete random variables. So random variables of which may take only countable numbers, which we have discussed on earlier here. So these are some of the probabilities of discrete random variables here. So this is again linked with our basic understanding of the probabilities here. So this is related to their probability mass functions, which we are going to need it here in the upcoming classes for the further discussion here. Where probability mass function VMF x is equal to xi, or you can say this is also related to the distribution of probabilities here. So here a few things, the summation of all the probabilities will lead to the unity, correct? If the functions are disjoint here, if there's no common, so it will lead to the 0. If I am going for their union here, So this will be summation of theirs to individual summation of their probabilities. And fourth, if I'm going for the union of the function here, it could be represented by the individual functions union here. That's it, and it will lead to the associated probability value will be lead to the unity, as we are talking in one sample space here. So what we discussed, discrete probability distributions here. So this will be something which are going to need it based on the further mapping, based on with random variables here. Okay, so we have talked about in today's class related to the random variables, and then we have subsequently classified into the two broader category: discrete random variable and the continuous random variables here. So this classification is just based on the nature here. If I could count here, then it is discrete. If I can't count it here, then it is random here. Okay. And once I'm going for the mapping here, generally what we are doing from one set of values here or experiments outcomes here within a one domain, I'm simply mapping with these experiments outcome here with the help of some real number values here on the real line axis here. So it could be positive, it could be negative. This is our basic understanding here. Once we already discussed all these aspects here, now we need to map it with their associated probability distribution part here. Okay, I'm not going to start this part here because I'm not able, it will not possible to finish it within the time frame here. So in the next class, we will once we meet here, we will go for the probability distribution aspects here, which we have already discussed very qualitatively in case of our first example of tossing a coin here, where we already counted corresponding to the x is equal to 0, 1, 2, and 3 here. And that the number of heads will be 0, number of heads will be 1, number of heads will be 2, and 3 here with their associated probabilities values here, where you can observe 1 by 8, 3 by 8, 3 by 8, and 1 by 8 here. So the number which are appearing here, this was based on their associated probabilities here. So how we can generalize this concept of probability distribution in case of any random variables here. So these things we are going to learn here in the next class here. So any doubt up to this point, what we have discussed? So this is probability mass functions here. We will come to that part here. Once we go through the probability distribution and density function here, we will come to that part here. So just wait for one more class here. So this will be clear to you. Anything else? Okay, I think there's no further question from your side here. So I'm going to close this class here at this point of time. And subsequently, as you all are going need to appear for the first quiz here. So this is the 10 minutes preparation time for you all here. So the quiz link will be shared at the 12:10 here. So you need to put the basic entries and then start giving the responses to the questions here. And remember one thing, you will get the assigned marks only if you provide all the correct responses here. For example, if there is a one questions here, corresponding that question, there are two correct responses here. If you provide both the correct responses, then you'll get the full marks here. If out of the two, if you provided the one here, which is also correct here, then you will not get the marks here. So you will get marks if and only if you provide all the correct responses corresponding to any question here. Okay, so this is all from my side for the today's class here.
Sir, how many marks for the quiz, sir?
So this is the 20 questions will be there in the quiz here, so its weightage will be 10 marks. So one question 1 marks here, but overall weightage of this quiz will be the 10 marks. So out of the 100, you can say your 10 marks evaluation is going to be today.
Sir, negative marking?
Negative marking, this is not at the first time here, but in future it may be. But for today, there is no negative marking.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anything else? No. Okay. Thank you.